The road to success as a mass-market manufacturer is paved with three-row SUVs. Big families need big cars on budgets that might not be so big. Subaru retired its Tribeca many years ago and has soldiered on without a three-row crossover since. But all that changes this year, and we're about to find out whether or not the 2019 Ascent can handle a year of work with Roadshow. This is our long-term 2019 Subaru Ascent. Over the next 12 months or so, it will live in both Detroit and upstate New York, hauling everything we can think of and piling on the miles like a pack mule. We've already put about 2,500 or so on the odometer, but before we dig into that, let's look at this SUV's specific spec a little further. We've optioned our 2019 Ascent in the second highest limited trim, bringing its base price up from $31,995 to $38,995. Of course, that money is dumped into fancier kit, and our Ascent is plenty posh. We have leather across the interior, creating a neat two-tone aesthetic. The limited trim also includes LED headlights, 20-inch alloy wheels, a heated steering wheel, and keyless access. But that's not all. We also opted for the $2,950 options package that adds navigation, a panoramic moonroof, and a 14-speaker Harman Kardon sound system. Including an extra $132 for all-season rubber floor mats that are all but required in a Midwest winter, our Ascent costs a lofty but not obscene $43,052. No matter the trim, all Ascents rock the same engine. A 2.4-liter flat 4 good for 260 horsepower and 277 pound-feet of torque. All-wheel drive is standard, as is a continuously variable transmission. Now this trim will tow up to about 5,000 pounds, which should cover everything we'll be interested in towing over the next year or so. Since we received the long-term Ascent on Halloween, we've since put about 2,500 miles on the odometer. The first 500 came just in Detroit, but since then I've taken it on 2 separate road trips to the other side of Lake Michigan. 5 hours is really nothing for this car, floating nice and serene down the highway. The Ascent Limited is EPA rated at 20 mpg city and 26 highway, numbers that I frankly have had a little bit of trouble achieving. Now, at double nickels at 55 miles an hour, 26 mpg all day, but once you get to highways with 70 mile an hour and higher speed limits, well, it turns out the city rating is more applicable than the highway rating. While I do find the ride generally comfortable, I do have a couple of initial qualms. First, the throttle tip-in is way too touchy, so it kind of launches itself forward at every intersection, which gets pretty annoying. Secondly, the CVT is way too efficiency-minded at low revs, so it's constantly trying to drop them, and every time you're trying to maintain a slow acceleration rate, you're jamming the throttle back and forth, you're lurching back and forth, it doesn't work. Sadly, the Ascent has already needed to be repaired. With just 40 miles remaining on a 1,000-mile road trip, an errant highway rock struck and cracked the windshield. Thankfully, after having somebody come out and assess it, it was only a minor crack, so we were just able to fill it and keep the rest of the windshield. That set us back about $130. Now, we've already had an eventful start with our long-term 2019 Ascent, and we do not anticipate that changing for the next 10 months. Keep your eyes peeled to Roadshow for more updates, including the handoff to our esteemed editor-in-chief, Tim Stevens.